Hi everyone, very good afternoon. We shall be starting in next 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you everyone. Hello everyone, very good afternoon. Before I start, if you can let me know, am I loud and audible? Am I clear?
Yes.
Thank you, Madani. So hello all, a very good afternoon, and myself Ekta Dubey on behalf of the Brinalytics team and our partner Compass AI, we welcome you all on a roundtable, which is why automation is critical for channel partners. So before we start the roundtable, there are a few guidelines that I would quickly like to highlight and make you people aware of. Requesting all the attendees to be on mute when the speakers are taking the session. There would be a Q&A after each session where the attendees can ask the question, if any, to respective speakers. The guidelines are you need to raise your hands, unmute yourself, and put your question to the concerned speaker. So before we start the roundtable, I'm happy to introduce our partner, Compass AI. Compass is a software that gamifies your incentive programs, integrate your CRM, pick one of your interactive game templates and publish it in less than 10 minutes. No more spreadsheets. With easy to publish game templates, leaderboards and analytics, Compass empowers your sales managers. With game-like elements, rewards, recognition, and complete access to relevant information, Compass motivates your on-the-ground sales force to do more. And the end result is highly energized organization with accelerated performance and sustained growth. Today, we have an interesting set of speakers who will share lovely insights on the automation required for the channel partners. So starting with the keynote session, I'm glad to introduce Mr. Ajay Shenoy, Chief Business Officer with Compass AI, and he would be sharing his interesting insights on rethinking digital transformation for channel partner success. Thank you so much, Ajay, for being here, and over to you.
Thanks so much, Ekta. It's a pleasure being here. I think this is a facet of capitalism
End of the day, since we're sponsoring this event, I get a chance to talk and about a topic that has been very, very close to my heart right through my career. Channel management has been something that I've built my career on, and it's been 21 long years where channel management has evolved in a fashion that is mind-boggling. We learned about it in theory way back in business school. We were talking about how your hub and spoke model would work. I think way back in 1999, nobody was even talking digital at that point of time. And to come close to 20 plus years after that, where I'm actually addressing an August audience, as well as some really stalwarts of the industry who are on the panel with me, about how automation is going to really drive the entire channel management piece is extremely exciting. Now, I had an option. One was to give you the heavy pitch as to what Compass as a product can do for you. And the other was to get a little generic. But in deference to my co-panelists, I think it's better that we stay a little generic with regard to automation as a whole. And they will pitch in as we go along with our panel discussion. And we've had a little bit of a conversation prior to this discussion, and I think it would be unfair on my part to actually steal their sunshine at the moment. Let me be a little bit specific about now automation in channels. In my mind, there are 4 facets of channel management where automation plays a really great role. Number 1 being on the channel operations, the second being on the channel marketing, the third being on connected CRMs being a part of this entire infrastructure, and fourth is sales enablement. They all dovetail into each other at some point of time or the other during our channel management journey, but each has its specific purpose to play. I'm going to focus on about 2 or 3 of them at the moment. Number 1, on the operations space. Let's not keep, pandering to the pandemic. Yes, the pandemic threw us off guard, but there were a lot of market changes that have occurred in the last 5, 6, 7 years. We've had new regulations that have come in. We've had the way that going from just a simple thing like demonetization, which took cash away from the markets and brought in the advent of digital modes of payment as a big change in our country. These did not shake the basic infrastructure that channel management was built on. We have always been an economy that has been built on distribution. Even way back in history, when every village was a self-contained unit, there were still aspects of barter systems that happened between villages or towns or cities way back in history. I mean, we're talking not even like European history, we're talking Indian history. Distribution is in our blood. The size of our country defines the fact that distribution is a necessity. It's not something that is a good to have, it's a need to have. So that's in our DNA. Going from a perspective of understanding how we need to increase reach, we have 1.3 billion people in our country. We're one of the largest markets in the world, if not the largest. To reach every last customer, no matter how big or small an organization is, channel management is always going to be key to their business to be able to reach that last mile customer at any given point of time. And automation, where does that now play a big role for us? There is only a finite amount of expansion one can do within their own organization, no matter how big, how small you are. And automation is actually ensuring a complete expansion overall so that our reach improves. But as you get more and more further from the core organization, how do you reach out to that last mile, that last retailer, that end user? That's where technology plays a great role. Let's look at companies that we have grown up admiring: a Hindustan Unilever, a Coca-Cola. These are companies that have been out there reaching out to number one metro cities, and they went to tier one, tier two, tier three. Today, everyone's after the tier four cities also, or towns and villages. Automation plays a great role with regard to how your channel operations are functioning. You have such a widespread field force, and I will defer to one of my co-panelists who will take you through a use case that he has experienced within his own organization. So without stealing his thunder, I think automation, I can just put it succinctly saying automation allows you to make optimum use of your field force. Good guys today are far and few to find. But the guys you have on your team, you need to extract the most out of them. They sure cost you a bomb. If automation can bring in optimization of your field force by route optimization, the number of outlets that they handle, the territories that they handle, their outlet activations, that is one big factor for any kind of company. It doesn't matter which sector you're in. The second is from an internal organization perspective. A lot of us on this call are from startups. We keep forecasting future revenues, we keep forecasting future business. Automation brings to bear both aspects of historical data as well as futuristic data, where you can actually build forecasting ability within your organization. You are on a steady path. I am a naysayer when it comes to this whole investment gambit. But at the end of the day, every company is built on solid business principles. If it's not, it fails. If it is, it succeeds, and it succeeds like nobody's business. Most important in the whole operations piece is the partner management. No longer is a partner a faceless entity. He has some identity. That identity earlier was defined by your territory sales manager who met the partner. Today, with the advent of social media, people are available online. You can actually interact with a partner one-on-one. At the same time, in its entirety, multiple partners think they're being interacted with on a one-on-one basis. So that partner engagement is the key to any distribution business. And that's where automation, social actually plays a really great role. That's one side. That's the whole operation side, which is the nitty-gritties are all about talking about logistics, stock keeping, minimum stock quantity. How do machines take over the business of simple Excel sheets where somebody was sitting and correlating what a retailer bought 6 months ago to what he's buying today, and what is the opportunity available over there. Systems do it for you. The whole operations piece. The second piece I'd really like to focus upon is the whole sales enablement piece. And in channel management, there are two aspects to the sales enablement. One are your in-house team who are driving your channel. And the second and most important are your channel itself. Companies today who are into large-scale distribution want to see how they can activate more and more distributors, retailers, end customers. How does that bring to bear with regard to their turnover, with regard to their bottom lines at the end of the day? Simple issues like new activations, which is dealer registration, dealer tracking. A new guy has come on board. Has he been onboarded well? Is he actually going through the journey where he's driving business for you? Is extremely important. There's a whole marketing piece that's driving leads. Are the leads going to the right person? And here I'm talking cross sector. It doesn't matter whether you're in FMCG, you're in EdTech, you're in BFSI. absolutely doesn't matter. End of the day, channels would always be people who are indirect in nature or direct in nature. And both of them are extremely important. Most large companies and some of the new startups work on MDFs, market development funds. What are the efficacy of your market development fund? Are you getting the maximum bang for your buck? Automation helps you over there. Automation, at the end of the day, I mean, to cut a long story short, I've been speaking for quite some time. There is a plethora of data out there that is constantly being fed into an organization. Are we able to manually identify how much that data is pertinent to us, how much of that data is pertinent to us, and can we action that data? That's where automation plays a really great role. I have co-panelists with me today from cross sectors. We have somebody from MobiKwik. We have somebody from a CRM company called LeadSquare. We have end customers like Wheelseye, and we have HCCB, which is Coca-Cola India. These guys have been in the business. They've felt the pain. Some of us are providing solutions to them. These guys know the pain. Some of them have had foresight. Some of them are still hanging back. But end of the day, it's going to be very, very pertinent that while I don't want to go down the path of that famous English movie where the machines took over the world, but if a lot of jobs can be done more effectively with higher efficiency, I think automation is the way forward. In channel management, with highly distributed networks, keeping in mind customer experience, keeping in mind company revenues, keeping in mind the basic idea of reach. Overlay all of that with the way that the trends are changing in the market today, I think there is absolutely no other way but to find either baby steps or take giant leaps of faith. No worries, it depends on your risk appetite. But automation is an aspect that is only going to shorten your distance between where you are today and where you want to reach tomorrow. And that's the long and short of it. During our panel discussion, of course, I'm going to now talk about what is my ethos with regard to channel management specific to my company. And I welcome questions around it. I will defer to a lot of my senior panelists, co-panelists who are there today. But end of the day, it is an evolution that we are shortcutting today, where we were handling 10,000 people on field doing an X job. Automation has been able to bring efficiency into those 10,000 people today, or in a worst case scenario, brought that down by at least 60% and delivered the same amount of efficiency that we were getting from those that earlier stack. This is the long and short of what I wanted to address you guys on. I will turn you over to our moderator, Medni, who will then pick up the panel discussion. Over to you, Medni.
Hi. Okay, thank you. Before we move on to Madhuri, sorry to interrupt. This is Ekta. I would like to thank Ajay for taking this session. So audience, if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box. We can take it from there as well. Or you can raise your hands right now. We can take one question if any concerns or any questions you have with Ajay. So Ajay will take a little while if we see anyone raising their hands. But any question you can put on the chat box.
Hey, I wanted to ask something. So
yes,
here,
Parul, you can introduce yourself first, and then you can put your question. Over to you, Parul.
Okay, so hi, this is Parul, and I'm kind of working on a solution. I'm working on kind of understanding the problems and solution for a channel partner. So very intriguing. I came across your this thing about this webinar on LinkedIn. So I wanted to understand that the solution that you guys are proposing today, is it for like channel partners in terms of like both mobile application as well as a website, or either of those?
So Parul, let me address the question in two parts. Number one, I think when you are developing a solution for a channel partner, you need to dissect between whether the channel partner, what, and without sounding racist in any way, what is the ability to reach out to this channel partner? Today, we are not proposing a solution. Today, we're talking about solutions that are available. But if you ask me specifically from a Zozode or a Compass perspective, we have made it open to whatever your deployment method needs to be. If channel partners in your space, and unfortunately I don't have any background about your space, are more mobile savvy, there is a mobile app available. If they are the kinds who are channel partner owners, as in they own an agency and they run a team of their own, and only the agency owner wants to look at it on his desktop, there is a web version available. It could go down the path wherein you have indirect sales teams who are working for a company but are embedded on their CRM, somebody like a LeadSquare. We are integrated with LeadSquare as a CRM or an SFDC, Salesforce.com or a HubSpot or Close.io. Name the CRMs, we're integrated with them, and we will keep those salespeople within that environment. Always remember, when you're developing something for your channel needs are paramount. Identify, slice and dice the channel basis what their acceptance is going to be to your deployment. Don't second guess them. And always choose a partner who can give you deployment methods that are omni-channel. You want mobile?
No, I have a question here. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
When you say you can partner with LeadSquared for these channel partners, right? Don't you think it's a very expensive affair to give them applications of these CRMs? Because see, a lot of clients or a lot of banks and NBFCs that I've talked with, the number of channel partners that are associated with them are in thousands, right?
Correct.
Let's
Correct.
say if somebody is functioning with 20 or 30 thousands of channel partners, and I'm assuming a CRM, a mobile application would not cost you anywhere less than 250-300 per user. How do you
Correct.
think, why do you think a bank is going to pay for a channel partner at this sort of amount? Do you think like giving them a Salesforce or a LeadSquare kind of mobile application would fly?
So two answers to this, and I'm going to let Anil also come in on this because he's actually raising his hand. Anil heads up LeadSquare over here, but before he comes in, let me give you two sides of the story, and I'll let him talk about the pricing with regard to channel partners. Number one is the fact that LeadSquare as a CRM or SFDC, Salesforce.com, or any of your CRMs are a single version of the truth. People are concerned today about issuing licenses to their channel partners. In the old sense, every license costed you $250-300 a pop. And you didn't want to do that with your channel partners because of the churn over there, especially if they were commission agents. That's where you start looking modular. So CRM is your single version of truth. And then you get a cheaper option that gives the end user, who's your channel partner now, a standalone module at a lower cost, which has data that is pertinent only to them. See, the CRM does not just give you output data. The CRM does a lot of processing on its own. The CRM, like I said, is a single version of truth with regard to your business. Whatever is coming in, whatever is being churned within it, and whatever has to be given out. So you break it into two modules. Keep the CRM in-house. Find a partner like Zozode that will actually give you pertinent data for your end users at a cheaper cost. That being said, there are moves that are being made by the CRM vendors, and I'll let Anil answer that with regard to how they are catering to these outsourced partners with regard to licensing. Anil, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ajay. I think you covered most of the aspects of it. And I think, Parul, just to answer your question, I think there are three ways that the partner can use, let's say, any of the CRM applications. And trust me, it will not cost you 250 or 300 rupees if the volumes are that large. Just to give you an example, today we work with organizations who are into e-commerce, and there are almost 1 lakh, 2.5 lakh people from one organization using our application on the ground, and trust me, it is cost effective. All they do is merchant onboarding. Now, we can also kind of look at when the volumes are larger, we can either look at if it is a mobile application use case, we can look at activity-based pricing, or we can say that we can give a lighter version of a web application wherein we call it a partner portal. So if we talk about financial institutions, the use cases are pretty simple. We give a partner a login, he punches a case, and he can punch the documents as well. The documents get verified by the bank because there is a seamless data integration. The documents get verified with the bank, and at each stage of verification, an alert goes to the customer and an alert goes to the partner that this is where the file which is logged in it is at. So let's say whether it can be a document verified stage, it can be a symbol verified stage, or it is a loan disbursement, or it's let's say a loan is already disbursed. So at each of the stages, the partner gets a notification, and trust me, these options for a 20-30,000 partner management, these options are really cheaper than to the cost what you have mentioned. We already have a lot of customers using it, and then we have also kind of developed a PDA, a progressive web app, wherein people can kind of use it on the fly. And the beauty is, if it is the mobile application, people who are using it on the ground, this will also work in an offline mode. So let's say whatever data that they want to kind of punch in, even if there is no connectivity, it will still work. And these solutions are pretty cheap.
Understood. The next question following, I am sorry if anybody has any questions.
Parul, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we start with, let me introduce the panel speakers. We have a wonderful set of panel speakers. Of course, the discussion is going to be very interesting, and please save your questions with all the panelists. We can just introduce the panel because the panelists here, and then we can take it forward. I hope that's okay, Medini and Ajay.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Parul, you can just make a note of your question. We're more than happy to answer it for sure. I think, like Ekta said, let's just introduce the panel, and a lot of your questions might also get answered in the course of this conversation. And whatever else does come up, we'll absolutely address towards the end.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah. Thank you. So now already the discussion was started, but let me introduce the panel topic. Of course, it is why automation is critical for the channel partners. And I'm happy to introduce our panel members. We have Mr. Rahul Ligade, AVP Shared Services, Sales, Commercial and Supply Chain with Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Private Limited. We have Mr. Anil Kumar, AVP Sales with Lead Square. Mr. Sukanta Malakar, core team member with Wheels Eye. And we also have Mr. Sukhwinder Thapar. He will be joining in sometime with MobiQuick. So we are just waiting for him to join in. And happy to introduce our moderator, Medini Mangala, VP Marketing with Compass AI. And Mr. Ajay Shinoy, who is already Chief Business Officer and Compass AI, already added you to the panel. So thank you so much, all the panelists, for being here today with us. Now, Medini, over to you to start the discussion. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. And I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. We promise to keep this very, very to the point, I promise. But what we're talking about today is actually something very interesting. It is broadly, it is automation for channel partners. But two aspects that we're going to look into is why is automation extremely critical for your channel partners? And two, what are the must-have automations that you need to have in your company? Because too much automation is also not necessarily recommended. It can cause technology fatigue, low adoption, not great engagement. So what we're going to do today is very quickly get into this conversation. We have a wonderful set of panelists who are going to share anecdotal information. The wonderful thing is 80% of our audience, of our panelists passionately believe in automation. One person, and you will realize who this is as they start speaking, one person doesn't think automation is all that critical if minor tweaks can make your life easy. I'm also going to put them on the spot towards the end of our conversation and ask them one must-have automation, from their, as per their recommendation for all your companies. We will try to keep this a free-flowing conversation. So if anyone has questions, please do drop it into the chat box. If it comes up in, while we're talking, we can possibly address it, or we can keep it to the end. Wonderful. So very quickly, we realized that especially since the pandemic and pre-pandemic, managing channel partner marketing programs is both important and a key strategic tool. But constantly coming up with new programs, implementing new technologies, and communicating launch of these programs to them needn't be very effective, right? And this is where automation plays a really key part. So Rahul, this just dives right into what you do, right, at HCCB. Firsthand, you have to deal with all the problems, the risks, the insights, the takeaways that plague channel partners and your entire network. How critical does automation become when you're trying to engage with your entire set of channel partners?
I hope I'm audible, right? Yeah, fine. So I think thank you so much for letting me in and starting the conversation. So I think one of the important thing is that it's not that we have to do automation just because everybody else is doing it. There's always a right fit for everything. So we need to find our space, and this should be enabler and not the key agenda. So I'll begin with that. Having said that, I think briefly I'll explain what HCCP does to engage their channel partners in different ways. And of course, we always believe in the fact that one size does not fit all. Okay, so we have a range of customers, and the customers meaning I'm seeing that the customers who actually buy products from us and not the exactly consumers. Consumers will be a different set of people. So when we look at the customers, it is important for us to service them, right? So whether they are distributors, they are national key accounts, or retailers, or even a smaller hub and spoke model, or even the wholesalers, the large wholesalers that play in metros around them. So we strongly believe that one side does not fit all. We have segmented them in different class, and we have understood what is the need for every segment. For an example, we have national key accounts, and they're big players like Reliance, Walmart, metros of the world, and they are obviously at a much higher end of technology advancement, whether their inventory planning is, whether there's purchase order management, whether there is a inventory management, or even goods in transit management. So they are very highly sophisticated in terms of their own systems, and hence we are trying to see to it that their ERPs are connected to our ERPs through our network, which is called as EDI, Electronic Data Interchange. And that way we are able to almost be in sync with them, whether it's a pricing, whether it's a purchase orders from them, our sales orders, account reconciliation, or even to the extent of advance shipment notifications. So they can know what is in transit and by when it is expected to hit them. So that's obviously a class of customer who are very advanced in terms of technology. They're ready to invest into EDI. They don't want, because every day we get 50s and hundreds of POs from them. So they also don't want to invest manual people to doing all those tracking. The second set of customers is our channel partners in true sense, which are basically distributors who serve the market, serve the retailers. So in a way, we are also about thousands of distributors who are there. So managing their inventories, making sure that all SKUs are available, relevant SKUs are available at their respective territories is another set of requirement. And we have actively engaged with them, and jointly we have decided on a third-party software which kind of takes care of the distributors' inventory management as well as order management. So distributors' inventory management is online available to HCCB, and we are able to do a continuous replenishment basis the stock norms. So this is a application which is external and it is on the cloud, right? So we are able to quickly get all the data, and we also can push the SKUs that need to be in the market. The third set of customers is actually not direct customers to HCCB, and they are actually being served by distributors, which are basically our retailers, whether it's a hotel, restaurant, or a grocery shop. But we also believe that they are our final endpoint before the product is handed over to consumers. So we directly engage with them. We have a large telecalling center, and they are on a fixed day in a week. They are being continuously called, and we also give them information in terms of what schemes are available, what kind of SKUs are running in the market right now. There's the weather is changing, it's summer is setting in, so a different set of components, the products will be in the demand in the market. Similarly, when we go into a winter or some other season, a different set of products will be running. For example, in the monsoon, there'll be more demand for water, right? So in the winter, it might be more of soda and other things. So that's the way we also guide our retailers what to stock, what not to, and this is managed actively through a Salesforce-based system, which is helping telecallers to engage with retailers, get their orders, try to maximize our sales in that outlet, and pass on these retailers' orders to the distributor for serving them. So this is a spectrum of customers to whom we serve differently through automation. And I'm sure we'll talk more on this, but I think this is a big introduction on what HACCP does in this space. So thanks, and handing over back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rahul. That was wonderful. And you gave me the perfect segue in the end where you said that you rely heavily on Salesforce and a CRM like that to automate this entire process and make it, like Ajay has been saying, the single source of truth. Anil, that just brings me naturally to you. As Lead Squared, which is one of the leading, stop laughing, Ajay, as Lead Squared, which is one of the leading CRMs in the world. Automation is obviously, I mean, it's the sheer ethos of a company like Lead Squared, right? But you were talking about something interesting a little earlier when we connected. That was what Rahul said, that it's not one glove that fits all. It's not automation for the sake of automation. It's hybrid solutions.
Absolutely.
So do you want to just elaborate a little more about that and maybe make a case for Lead Squared with Rahul as well?
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Rahul, and thank you so much, Medmi. So I think, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving an opportunity to us to kind of present something on automations. And I would also like to thank the audience for taking out time and be here and giving time in listening to us. So I think hybrid is the word that you have left me. So I'll start with that. I think today, if you look at specific teams operating within an organization have specific requirements. So finance would require something called a tally. Let's say, for example, an SAP would do a lot of things within an organization. It will automate a lot of journeys for them. Still, even after having SAP, people would still require a dealer management system to kind of manage orders, punch orders. Then I think Rahul also mentioned about contact centers. So contact center automation is a different piece altogether, which needs to be kind of managed while managing. And for each one of them, there are different tools and technology which is available. Some point I was hearing from Ajay that there's a large field force which is there on the ground. Do we have a system in place for them today which can make a PGP? Now, a lot of people must be thinking, what is a PGP? PGP is a permanent plan which is used in the dealer distributor network industry, that people generally make a 30-day or a week plan. But how these plans are made, am I meeting random dealers, or there is some inherent intelligence which is built inside, and it is kind of helping me, the system is helping me to create a day plan for my FOS people on the ground. Because then if there are let's say thousands and hundreds of distributors and retailers on the ground, my field force would also be into a similar range. Now, to manage that, do we have a rating system that, okay, fine, these are my top platinum partners, or these are my gold partners, or let's say these are the partners wherein there is some sort of disengagement wherein I need to interact. So these are all different systems. I would cover primarily 3 industries today, considering the paucity of time that we have. I would cover building material channel partners, financial institutions, and FMCG and retail, just to kind of address these queries. And each of them have their own challenges. So the first challenge could be, let's say, the partners are disengaged. We have certain set of channel partners who are transacting low with us. I think with the advent of pandemic, everybody realized that digital transformation is important, and people wanted to kind of go to the downstream. So typically from a distributor network that people were kind of happy managing it, people want to go to the downstream, and some organizations which are into building materials, specifically let's say cement, ply, or any other sanitary fittings, now they also want to kind of reach to the end customer. The approach has completely changed today. Then partner communication is very important. So how do we automate partner communication is something that we need to kind of really think upon, because there could be a possibility that I may have hundreds and thousands of partners, but then they are not very comfortable using an email. What would you do? Do we have WhatsApp as a communication? Do we have email? Do we have an SMS as a communication? Or Do we also have, let's say, native languages, landing pages as a communication to kind of register their queries, concern, complaints, whatever it is? So I will cover primarily these three industries, and we would talk about that how we can automate these journeys. So for FOS management, we have kind of made an application which automatically devises a permanent journey plan. Earlier, when I started meeting people in, let's say, manufacturing segment, we realized that they're relying on a 30-day plan. Now we realize that there is no salesperson on this planet who can tell that from today, for the next 30 days, these are the set of customers that I meet. And that is absolutely a incorrect plan that everybody was making. We went there, we told that why don't we do a weekly plan? I can think for a week that these are, let's say, 5 distributors every day that I need to meet, and there could be some on the go meetings as well. So we made we bifurcated, we broke the plan, the permanent journey plan, into, for the FOS automation, we made it a weekly plan or a daily plan. What is my daily plan? The moment I open the application, I can click on start and I can start meeting dealers and distributors and then start finishing those activities. Similarly, for the contact center automation, it requires multiple integrations with various systems, which we call hybrid today, because specific teams, as I mentioned, have specific needs. Now, do we have a web application or a mobile application that if people are not working from office, if they're working from home, still my dealer distributor queries are answered? Do we have a system like that? The answer is yes. We have helped many customers during the pandemic to kind of answer customer queries while people are sitting at home. So the contact center automation is something that is very well a very critical piece. And a lot of people might think that what is an automation? How does it look like? So to few softwares, it could be a complex code. To an organization like ours, it is all drag and drop. Even a layman who is not a technical person, he can come and design automation on the platform. It is as simple. We have kept it for our customers. So these are few aspects that which are very important from a channel partner management. If you go to building material side, the partner requirements are completely different. They have an influencer, they have a apart from a dealer, they have an influencer, they have an architect, so on and so forth, that they want to manage. And these are also partners apart from the dealers and distributor, because they kind of push a lot of information to them. So do we have a influencer app? Do we have a partner portal for automating all the journeys that they can pass on the queries to you and the brand can immediately respond to those queries? The answer is yes. Today we have those technologies available with us. The biggest challenge, so basically I look at partners in three different categories. One is a partner who's transacting with me. The other partner is somebody who's low transacting, whose transactions are low. And the third partner is a disengaged partners. So how do I build an automation for each one of them so that the one who is kind of highly transacting with me, I can do a cross-sell upsell with him. The partner whose transactions are low, how do I kind of devise an FOS journey so that the transaction can go up? Or let's say, how do I devise an automation wherein constant engagements are happening on an omni-channel platform with this particular low transacting dealer, so that I can bring him up to the highly transacting dealer or distributor or a channel partner. And the ones which are disengaged, do we have an automation wherein the moment my transactions, my orders go down, or let's say my FOS visits go down, do we have a system which tracks this dynamically? So instead of like keeping it in a spreadsheet and updating it, do we have a system which can track and tell me that these are the partners, they are already disengaged, what plans of action needs to be taken for these disengaged partners? And do we have a system which can run campaigns on top of it automatically, wherein it can generate certain amount of engagement? So these are the challenges, what I feel and what I have seen, which we address in this. These are very well there in the industry. A lot of times when we go down to the upstream or the downstream of dealers and distributor network, a lot of times we hear from them that the OEM is kind of not very responsive to us. So do we have a platform wherein we can do some level of engagement, wherein the interaction transactions are two-way? So even the partner can communicate and tell the problems with you, and at the same time he can see that these are the queries that I've listed, and these are the timelines that they have got answered, and the brand is responding, and they are kind of working with me very closely. Unlike FMCG, I think Parul was asking questions on BFSI customers. I would like to highlight that. Unlike FMCG, the financial institutions work on a lead model. So let's say there are hundreds and thousands of DSAs and DSTs, direct sales associate or direct sales teams. They kind of, let's say, pass a lakh lead to a bank in any given year. Now, first of all, the moment the partner enters that lead in the system, do we have a mechanism that I can tell him that this already exists in my system?
Right.
So this is not a fresh lead, this is a secondary lead. I'll still give you compensation if this closes, but this is a secondary lead. So do we have that transparency for our partners is the question. Yes, we do have that transparency wherein the partner can see. And at each stage, when the lead is kind of moving from one step to the next step. So let's say the first step could be the partner uploads the customer documents. Then the second step could be document are all verified, field visit has happened. Now at each step, do we have a communication journey which is kind of keeping my partner and my customer engaged, that this is what is actually happening on the case? And do we know exactly that this is the date that the loan is disbursed? And does the partner have a tool wherein he can just go and check that this is the money that I made with the bank? These are the cases which have got locked in. These are the cases which are, yeah. Please go ahead, Ajay, if you have something to add.
I was just saying, I really subscribe to that point. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So just imagine if, let's say, 1 lakh leads are being transferred and 10% is what the data leakage, what banks generally claim from the partner leads. Now, and out of which 10% they close. So even if, let's say, we are losing that 1,000 customers, it's almost a 300 CR business for a bank that they are losing. It is very important for us to kind of have a system in place which gives us zero lead leakage. So people talked about price. I think what we have done is since we are moving towards more and more enterprise customers, we realize that there could be thousands of partners who are very active. They are doing active transactions on LeadSquare. They're actively using, let's say, a portal or a PDA or a mobile app or a web app. They're actively using. Some of them are not using it. So should we build them for that? Is the question. That if the transactions are not happening with them, should we build them, or should we give them the intelligence that these are the people who are not using and these could be the reasons, and let's engage with them in this way? So I think those solutions are today very handy for a partner management side. We also realize that to drive efficiency with our dealer distributor networks, and Rahul can definitely add to it if required. There are a lot of loyalty and reward schemes which a brand needs to run. Now, do we have a scoring mechanism that bases the transaction history, or let's say bases the product that the person is selling? The schemes are kind of generated, and those scheme communication is being sent to the partner and to the salesperson who's managing that partner, that this is how far you are from the achievement of the goal. So let's say if this is the money that you are going to make by selling this small additional piece, and that is something which basically drives an extra mile. If you have internal teams, do we have a platform wherein I can, let's say Ajay and Anil are two sales people from the same organization. Do we have a mechanism wherein I can go and tell Anil that, hey Anil, Ajay is already on 85% achievement. How is it going for you? And it will kind of push me to run that extra mile.
No, it's wonderful that you're saying this. The reason I'm smiling is because this is exactly what our product Compass does. And I don't want to steal Ajay's shining moment when he talks about the product, but this is exactly what it is, right? Gamification. We keep using that word, but ultimately it's simply using fun, interactive, gamified elements to make everyday sales fun again, right? Like you said, leaderboards, dashboards, tracking your journey, milestoning it, all of that. Absolutely.
So gamification piece, I think we would leave that to you people. I think we do simple nudging wherein we can instigate that sales spark. I think Absolutely. That is what the tool is kind of known for in the market.
Yeah.
And stage-wise communication. So all of it can be done. And but I would say rather there are tools and technologies which are available to kind of do better partner management. And with that, I pass it on to you, Midhi.
Okay.
So wonderful. Over to you.
Yes. No, this is very, very nice. And thank you so much, Anil, for breaking it into three segments that, we consider at least legacy and therefore important industries for us today.
Yes.
Sukanta, over to you now. You know why I'm smiling, because your company runs on automation. However, a large part of what you done, which is handled offline marketing for the entire Wheels Eye piece, has been done with very little automation on using Excel sheets. So over to you to explain how you managed to figure that out, Sukanta.
Maybe I'd like to correct you. The company runs on files, automation, and that's what we're going to take today.
Sukanta, are you there or have we lost you?
You're Sukanta.
Yes. I can't hear you, Sukanta, unfortunately.
Yes, we can't hear you, Sukanta.
See, this is the problem. When you don't automate. Sorry, guys, just a little technical difficulty.
Am I audible right now?
Perfectly.
Yes, perfect.
Hello.
Yes, perfectly audible, Sukanta. Oh, he can't hear us now?
So first of all, thank you very much to give this opportunity and in this speaker panel. So I hope Mr. Ajay, Mr. Rahul, and Mr. Anil has covered the most of the part of automation, why actually automation is required for channel partners. So before going into the types of automation or what actually why actually automation requires, I hope automation actually provides you the optimization, process optimization, how you can actually optimize your process. And if I go to deep down, then it's actually, I hope, the insights or insights of data you are taking through automation. So actually, I'm taking care of the offline marketing business of Wheels Eye. So I hope everyone, most of the persons present here, I hope everyone, somebody has seen a sticker onto the back of any trucks actually containing Wheels Eye sticker. So automation in my, we know actually automation is required. But in my thinking, actually, automation need not be in application. It is not mandatory that we need to automate everything through application or everything to AI or machine learning. So there are in a company there are many processes we run actually. So if we go through the process, if I take the sales part actually. So first sales part is the lead generation. Then it comes to prospective clients, then to the onboarding part. If I take the lead generation till onboarding, there might be two teams. Similarly, after onboarding, there a team comes retention. If I go through the retention part, then there are also 2 to 3 segments what I can divide actually. First one is the upscaling the new product. Second might be some client not happy with the product or something went wrong with the client, wherein we can handle and re-onboard the client with the system. So if I say there are two, I hope Anil and Ajay will not mind. Actually, they are from the automation company itself, as said, Lee Squared and Compass. But what I have done actually, I have automated the complete marketing process in just a spreadsheet. So in Delhi NCR, I have covered around 40 to 50,000 vehicles, wherein I have pasted stickers into. But everything I have covered through a single spreadsheet. If I describe it, so Google gives us many platforms actually. So the first platform I have taken is a Google Form. The second platform I have taken is the responses coming through the Google form as into the spreadsheet. So if I further subdivide the automation process, so I am getting how many team is working with me today, which companies or which partner is working with me today, how much sticker or how much unique vehicle has been pasted with the sticker, whether it was a new vehicle or it was an old vehicle, whether there is certain fraud or something mishappening going on the side, that someone is taking picture of the vehicle put that just one day before and updating right now. So if I further subdivide, I have completely automated. Actually, I am getting the complete automate number that within 1 hour I have onboarded 6 to 7 vehicles with bill size sticker. What was their run rate? What actually from the starting day, and today suppose I have started with 100 stickers a day. Now how I am increasing, I can make a graph into the spreadsheet. I can make the future potential, how much I can paste if I go to Pan India. But obviously I'm not going to Pan India with this spreadsheet. Obviously I'm going to make an app through the internal, or I hope I am Ajay and Anil. But yes, so if I take, because we are into startup, so our main focus comes into more of the cost savings actually. If I can use my resources
Elsewhere.
extensively with low cost. So if I go through and in startup, there are always 2 steps. One is 0 to 1, and then it is 1 to n. So we can take the automation part very seriously for 1 to n, because we have gone with the every reasons, or how many clients I can onboard. If I cannot onboard, let's say X percentage of clients, then what are the reasons behind I cannot onboard those clients, or what can I do to onboard those clients? Then I hope I can go for 1 to n with proper automation system, because I have the proper resolution right now. So that was actually a 0 to 1 model, and I thought around 1 month, how can I automate the system? So I gone through LeadSquared, Salesforce, everywhere I have gone through. But one of my friend actually shown me the way of Google, how you can use Google actually, and that is to free of cost. So I have studied the proper Google form, then everything, then I've just made the platform. So this is what actually I'm saying, automation, this is no, I'm not saying that automation is not required. Automation is very critical if I take the future purpose. So if right now I'm making anything, so I will not think for today only, what would be the purpose of today. My thinking should be what I will be after 1 year, or what I shall do after 5 years, or what I shall do after 10 years. So there comes the automation, how I can take any insights through data. So there are many platforms wherein automation is obviously there. I hope 2 competitors are in this panel list actually. But yes, that is my actually. So my simple thought process was automation is required, but it need not to be a costlier one, or through a application or through a website. It should be cost effective for might be a business with $1 billion company, but still the cost matters in any of the companies, or any of the companies. So my thinking was very simple, and I am not against automation. I am with the automation, but yes, the platform might be different.
Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely, Sukanta. I think that's a great insight, particularly for any startup founders, if there are in our panel, that while automation is critical, it doesn't mean having to, burn a hole in your pocket simply because you need to automate every single process. Thank you very much, Sukanta, for that.
Thank you very much.
Ajay, I'm going to very quickly move on to you, because one thing which Sukanta talked about was automations are critical at different stages of the organization. But at Compass, we've noticed one thing, and that is there's one problem that plagues everyone, whether you're a 10-member sales team or channel partners, or you're a 1 million, 100,000, workforce, and that is incentives. So very quickly over to you to talk about this huge thing that is irrespective of which domain you are in, what size you are in, all your channel partners and sales guys have one question. Mera incentive kahan hai, bhai?
And I think, it's a pleasure being part of this panel.
Ajay, your voice is thoda sa cut. Can everyone hear Ajay fine?
I think it is same for me as well.
Yeah.
Slightly, yes.
Is it better now?
No.
No?
No, there is a little disturbance.
Do you want to
No.
disconnect the headphones and try just the laptop maybe? Because can't hear you, can't comprehend.
Better now?
Yes, much.
Perfect.
Just speak a little louder.
Hey, you're the one who told me to use headphones. With this big head, doesn't work. But it's a pleasure being part of this panel because I have two customers, or rather prospective customers on this panel, and I have two partners. One who we already partnered with, and I'm just waiting eagerly for Sukhinder to come in after his RBI meeting to tell us exactly how he's going to help us out. So I've got two prospective partners, I've got two prospective customers over here. Life is good. Anil kind of nailed it very, very clearly with regard to the intent behind how CRMs work for us. I will never digress from the fact that CRMs, in whatever form or fashion, are the single version of truth. You call it by whatever name you want, you give the functionality that you want. It is a single version of truth. I particularly admire Sukanta for his candidness with regard to the fact that he says he likes automation. Automation is not about buying a brand, Sukanta. Automation is not about tying up with LeadSquare. It's not about tying up with MobiQuick. It's not about tying up with Compass. What you've done on your Excel sheet today is automation. In your own form and fashion, you're working that journey with regard to automation. Cost factors being brought into consideration. But the fact that gives me hope, gives me absolute elation is the fact that you see efficacy in building that automation. Whether today it's on Excel sheet, tomorrow it's going to be a standalone system. Third part is going to be a CRM that you bring in. And we want to partner with you guys on that journey. And that's why, we are really keen on proposing this whole proponent. I'm not going to talk about customer experience. I'm going to leave that to Sukhinder. He's going to wax eloquently on it completely. Especially coming back from a meeting with the RBI governor, he's going to wax eloquently. But I'm going to talk about what is my core competence. Couple of points that Rahul, yourself, and Anil brought up. I think if you boil it down, we're talking about few key parameters that cut across sectors. Rahul comes from the beverage industry. You come from the transport industry. Sukanta, you and Rahul are actually married in some generation because your transport vehicles require to transport Coca-Cola bottles and their SKUs to their distributors. Rahul belongs to an organization that 7 years ago invested in automation for dealer management, distributor management to ensure that from route optimization, from the facet of route planning, from the aspect of dealer management, distributor management is all automated for them. Why did they do that? Because they're going to be big. Trust me, they're big. Wheels-Eye today is going to be big. I have to talk to a Rahul Ligade. The only option I get is on a panel like this. Sukanta, I'll talk to one-on-one. Rahul, I can only get you on an RFP. That's besides the point. But end of the day, we want to grow with organizations big and large, and we want to fit in. Anil made some really pertinent points. Anil spoke about things like, native languages. Let's cut through the clutter. He's saying addressing the end user on the same strata that he belongs to. And again, I'm not trying to be dichotomic with regard to how they are. A guy who's on SMS, he has a basic phone, basic feature phone, he wants to receive an SMS. But you also have guys who are on fancy smartphones who can use WhatsApp, Slack, multiple other applications. You need to get automation that cuts across all these parameters, because neither one of us has the option to dissect कि अजय के पास basic phone है, मेघनी के पास smartphone है. I will only send an SMS to her. I will send him a WhatsApp message. You got to cut across all that. That's where you need smart systems. Two aspects I'm not going to talk about. AIML, customer experience. Sukhinder is going to talk about it for the next half an hour, for sure. But end of the day, I think I will boil it down to aspects which are core to me. Engagement. All of you have boiled it down to one aspect. You have distributed networks, distributed geos. You have people who are engaged, mildly engaged, disengaged. Do we charge for this? Pricing is not a concern over here.
I think your voice is feeble. I don't know whether only I'm the hearing that like that or everybody else is also.
I can hear him.
I can hear him actually.
Ligare, sorry.
I can hear him too.
Democracy. You can't hear. No. I'm sorry. I'll speak closer to the mic, Rahul, just so that I'm audible. But coming back to, I'm talking about engagement. End of the day, disengaged, mildly engaged, engaged. Sources of data. It could be a lead square, very close partner of ours. Absolutely no issues. Basically, you need a single version of the truth. You need to know, your channel partners need to have transparency. They need to know that if I sell 1, I'm accounted for 1. If I sell 5.5, I'm accounted for 5.5. And if I've reached a milestone, I've got that kind of money. Absolute transparency. There is a plethora of data out there. Data that even all of us on this panel don't know what to do with it. We're still working our way through it. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, fancy terms. End of the day, we still need to learn. The machine still needs to
At least we agree to the fact that we're sitting on data.
Yeah, bunch of it. Sukhinder, you're on mute.
Sorry, guys. I'm still on the move. So I just cleared my RBI meeting. I'm still on the move. And I'm so sorry, guys, to join in a little late. I was just getting my cab done and so forth. Anyways, I like the point, Ajay, where you said that we need to penetrate understanding who are on smartphones, who are on basic phones.
Yeah.
And when you say that, I think data says with India as a geography, we already moved to 72% smartphones.
True.
And when we are moving at 72% smartphone and we have that kind of internet penetration, I think we're already on the verge of getting the optimization to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 distribution centers as well.
True.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So I'll tell you, I'm cheating a little bit here because I spent greater part of my career in telecom. So my 2-bit on it is the fact that smartphone penetration is extremely high. Is the data available to us? Yes. All of us need to partner with telco operators because they have IMEI numbers that actually point to.
And I think sorry to take a step back. Why do we need to partner with telco partners? Why don't we have the first party data that is available with us and maybe get someone who's got the third party data available with them, like Zeotap. There are many organizations that can give me the kind of data.
Yeah, but Sukhinder, the cost of acquiring that data is far higher as opposed to a partnership. One school of thought, I agree with you in one way, but having found the fact that even despite the fact that you can identify whether a person holds a smartphone or a basic mobile, I think the next thing you need to look at is multiplicity of SIMs. A distributor owner will give his basic phone to his guy who's sitting at the shop saying, "Bhai, ye tera phone hai? To is pe SMS milega tere ko." Because he doesn't want that guy to be on WhatsApp with his girlfriend end of the day. And that is across the board. I mean, I'm talking about way back in 2002 when I handled channels. And even today, it's the same issue. I ran a butcher's store, for God's sake. And the worst part was my butcher was not cutting meat because he was on his phone watching videos. Yeah. So we had to put phones back in the drawer. But that's across all channel partners, whatever scale and size. End of the day, multiplicity of SIMs is a big problem, both for the telco industry, regulatory, as well as for marketing guys like us. But that being said, that data is available with us. What we do with that data is going to be extremely important. And to tie around what I was talking about, when we're talking about engagement with customers, with the end users, with the channel partners, I find a synergy between this panel itself. Let us not discount the fact that Rahul represents a company that has adopted to automation 7 years ago. And Sukanta is looking at small baby steps wherein one day he will exponentially grow. But it is people like Anil, Sukhinder and me who can actually collaborate to make this environment great. And I'll tell you why. Anil gives a single version of the truth. Any data that comes in from the field is available with Anil. He has basic processing that's available with regard to patterns, basic AI, things that will drive business. I fit in as a medium that takes this single version of truth in palatable formats and gives it to people in a pertinent fashion. And Sukhinder, in your avatar as MobiKwik, you are one of the greatest proponents of the success of a channel management system. Instant gratification. बंदा को points मिला, उसको पैसा चाहिए, MobiKwik उसके account में डालो. I do not want to build that system. I don't want to build that system.
I agree.
I don't want to build Anil's system. I want to stay where I am, but I want people like Rahul and Sukanta to
leverage these. Yeah.
To understand that these three people are part of one environment. We can talk about automation, we can talk about artificial intelligence, we can talk about machine learning. That is the domain of Anil, Sukhinder and me. My end customer today is Sukanta and Rahul, who say that Rahul for one side will say, मेरे 1.5 लाख retailer है, मेरे को 75% activation, outlet activation पे जाना चाहिए.
But you know what? It's going to be getting very difficult to penetrate Rahul. Why? Because he's running Coke and I run on Coke day in, day out.
Dude, but
that's the kind of thing that he does.
Both of you are higher life.
See, I don't eat my dinner without Coke. Exactly. And that's as simple as that.
You will not believe it. You will not believe, Sukhinder. I was on a panel with the CFO of Pepsi. And he says, so how will you help Pepsi as a product to improve their sales? I said, you don't need my product. You just ensure your marketing can change the phrase rum and Coke to rum and Pepsi. That day you will make more business. बोलता है, मैं भी जाता हूँ बाहर में तो मैं rum and Coke ही बुलाता हूँ.
Great, man.
Great. It's synonymous. It's coming synonymous. So Rahul's sitting on a great platform. But with Sukanto, I'm like,
Sukanto is something that I'm gonna really connect. Sukanto, connect me on LinkedIn. I would love to take you forward.
Surely, sure.
And
हमको छोड़ दिया बीच में. With us on a conference call with Anil, Sukhinder and me, and we will give you a joint proposition.
True. And how do I look at customer experience is the following. As in, see, I'm not talking about channel partners or maybe partnering with distribution channels. The customer experience in today's world is as simple as that. 64% of the people go by the word of mouth. That is as simple as that. They don't, you do whatever as a company, social media, you're doing super, you're doing, maybe you've got the best channels, you're addressing to problems on time, but still the word of mouth is very important. The word of mouth, how does it come? Are you building the right kind of customer journey? Right the moment someone encounters your product, to the moment someone comes, complains to you, to the moment resolving it and showing it to the people how you're responsible and a trust and safety brand, that if you have a problem, I'm still available for you. It's very simple to sell. It's very simple to solve. The most important fact is, how do you retain people? And the retention only happens because you're running a great customer retention journey. How do you engage people? Do you have the right kind of BAF models? Do you have the right kind of bring a friend? Maybe. And I love the fact the one that you picked up, which was WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp is a great medium to talk to people, but still, we have not adapted WhatsApp as a business channel. So, do we really think so? We can do transactional messaging through WhatsApp. We can do promotional messages through WhatsApp. Are they giving the right kind of results? They're not. So that's what I've learned. How do I build customer experience? One, what is your first line of defense? Your first line of defense is, how do you enable your consumers to solve their problems themselves? Do you really need human intelligence to come in there? Do you need huge contact centers? And Coke would have a huge contact center that would be running on, like, I don't know what kind of people, but what is your first line of, sorry?
300 है.
सिर्फ 300 है. अरे
Opportunity लिख लिया मैंने. वो जो 300 का इंसेंटिव जो ड्राइव करूंगा, मैं राहुल को फोन करके बोलूंगा कि भाई 300 का इंसेंटिव मैं ड्राइव करूंगा.
I with PayU, I was taking care of Turkey, Colombia, India, and from 750 seats, we reduced all these countries to 135 with automations, and with a efficacy, with an accuracy of the bots running at 98.8%. How do we do it? With channel partners and with clients like, I would love to take the names, and they'll be more than happy that I've taken those names, which is Yellow Messenger, Haptic, Vernacular.ai, Skid.ai. They're one of the leaders in automations. So
we just recently had a chat with Skid.ai. Nice.
And a very good friend of mine. He's one person in India. That's the only company that gives you 18 dialects with 21 different languages on voice. And voice is not simple to do. You can run a chatbot, you can do conversational AI.
Accent is hard.
Accent is something, and they've done 18 dialects in India. Sukanta, you want to take this name?
That's true.
Reach out to this guy. He's going to give you, like, Vernacular was one, Skit is two, Yellow Messenger, and Haptic.com. Just try to automations with these people. They've spent 2 decades into running customer experience.
And once you've done that, Sukanta,
then get in touch with them.
Remember Anil and Ajay. It's 2 A's.
Yeah.
Anil will give you the single version of truth. Ajay will deliver that customer experience to you. Sukhinder will continue to guide you on the path towards our success, because everything is going to go through MobiKwik when it comes to you.
But Sukhinder, the way you describe the entire building the customer experience journey, I have a word which I love a lot, creating evangelists, where your own customer becomes your biggest brand ambassador. And it's what you said, right? If there is a problem and somebody posts a negative comment, don't be quick to delete it. Don't be quick to get defensive and say, nahi, aisa nahi hua.
You know what? That's what trust and safety is.
Exactly.
If someone is coming to my ORM channels, they're coming to my social media, I would love to hear that complaint.
Yeah.
I would love publishing that complaint to the world and say that, you know what, this is how we handle it.
Here's how I resolved it. No, because you get a better, long-lasting customer in him now, because he knows when there was a problem, haath nahi diya aapne, you in fact supported him.
And not just about him, people who are reviewing him also.
Absolutely.
Maybe tomorrow's future customers who are looking at my social media, they know that, you know what, I have a problem. No company runs without a problem.
Yeah, of course.
I have a problem. I'm solving it the way you want it to be solved. And we have to present it. And that's how ORM is a super channel. Now, creating evangelists, creating promoters out of it, that's how you do it.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Okay, guys, we've really overshot our slot. Very quickly, going to put everyone on the spot. I think I know Anil's and Ajay's answers, but one automation, Rahul, I'm going to start with you naturally. One automation that people in our audience, you would definitely recommend, irrespective of cost or whatever, that is a good to have when you're starting your company.
Rahul say Compass. Rahul say Compass, and I will send you a proposal for zero cost tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. But basis my past experience, I think we have done a CRM plus a telephony solution. I think telephony is very important.
Yeah.
We run our telecalling center with 15 languages and, retailers' choices of languages, and the call gets routed to the right agent. So same can be said about
How do you
chatbots.
build a telephony system? Which one are you working with, Rahul?
No, it's a third party. So our call center runs that telephony. They are responsible to get the right or an efficient telephony system. It's called NGUCC.
Oh, okay.
So
You're
just giving it to your third-party contact center, run your telephone.
Yeah, because they are responsible for total calls made, productive calls, and the business outcome in terms of revenue per day and order value, average order value, or average number of SKUs per order. So for all of that, they are responsible. They are supposed to deliver that.
So, Rahul, just to add, I think a lot of organizations happily outsource their contact centers, and we've also noticed that they do kind of a monthly or a quarterly review
MBRs.
with partners. Now, I think what if let's say we say that we give you a mechanism wherein something can come automated to you that, okay, fine, these are the productive items for the day, these are the number of calls made today. And what if it comes automated to your email? And not only that, even if you want to kind of make a BCP, a business continuity plan, you would not want, let's say, one partner to kind of manage all the contact center at one particular place. Even if you have multiple locations, and even if one goes down, the system would have complete capability to kind of migrate all those calls to a different location, wherein none of the customer calls will get unanswered. Number one.
So let me kind of preempt you. This is already what we are doing. We already have a telephony system. We have a partner who's got multiple locations. We have a BCP wherein if X location goes down, they have alternate plans to activate Y.
Rahul, my following question
number of hours.
When your partner gives you the BCP plan, do they also give you equivalent plan which is a meaningful business value for you?
No, I did not get that question. Do they give equivalent
business value, as in, do they quote in that, you know what, these are the three things that we will do for you, which will take you from 0 to
No. So of course, the BCP is to run equivalent size of business and outcomes.
BCP is a simple plan that if one site goes down, you're automatically ready for the second site. What I'm saying is, do we have a MBV also? MBV is a meaningful business value that says that, you know what, today I'm running at this capacity. These are the insights that I give you as a business, and this is how you take it further from 0 to 1 to 1 to 10.
So probably I did not understand your question. So as we speak, we have a daily mechanism to run through the number of calls done, territory-wise, sales manager-wise. Then we have a premium SKU versus average versus normal SKU and low-value SKU like filler SKU like Kinley Water. So we get all that kind of analytics from our analytics engine, which is based in Power BI. So I am still not able to understand what is the
analytics that you're getting.
So Rahul, just to just to check. So let's say when we say a telephony system, they are largely used for a calling purpose. Do we have a integrated CRM, which basically, let's say, so let's say, what if it tells you that these are the queries which are coming in, and these are the people this needs to be routed. So let's say, do we have a mechanism wherein we say that the quality queries?
Maybe put an assembly line.
Yeah, so certainly we have a very advanced telephony, okay, which is cloud-based, and also it has got features like if you want to call back to the same person, language-wise, it has to be routed to a certain level, or if it's an escalation call, if it has to go to a certain separate skill set of callers. So I think all that is done almost 3 to 5 years back. We have done that in 2017 when we changed over from a basic telephony system from Tata to a very advanced cloud-based system from NGUCC.
And what are your so while you're doing this assembly line, you know what is your high, medium priorities, and you have the assembly. These are the 10 agents that will be taking this highest priority call, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. So there is a very seamless integration between our Salesforce and this telephony system. And there are with different attributes of the customers, which are in SAP or a CRM, that is passed on to the telephony, and telephony also gives me back number of attempts which are done to connect to a customer. What is the average time that has been spent with the customer, and how was even if it gives analytics in terms of whether there was a high pitch volume during the call, and if that is there, so it comes as an alert and which can be investigated.
So my final question is going to be the following, and it's going to be the next level of AI/ML that's going to come very soon. And I don't know whether people from contact center would understand or not, but we are building that. So what is your attrition rate today?
Really sorry, I can't get into that many details. It's not advisable to get.
So no, which is fine. So I normally, with a call center sitting at 1600 seats, I sit an attrition rate of around about 18%. Now, the telephony system has to be smart enough how quickly it can onboard my people who I'm getting new into the system without disrupting my NPS and CSAT. Now, are these telephony systems simple enough? So I get a person who is just 2 days old in the system, and do we have a unified panel while you're saying that it's a cloud-based telephony? And Anil rightly said, are these integrated with your CRMs, your SAP tools? And there is a unified panel that can just say that, you know what, I give you the training for 10 days, you're on and set, ready to go without disrupting my NPS.
Okay, guys.
Rahul
Yeah.
dropped him off because you, Sukhinder, you actually did the whole sales pitch on him.
I asked him too big a question.
Let's just
wrap this up. Yes, please. Yes, Ajay.
But any which ways, guys, it was super catching up. And
Absolutely, Sukhinder.
And I'm still on the road. You could see that.
But thank you so much for this, Sukhinder. Ajay, any parting thoughts just quickly to wrap this up?
So since you're doing the rapid fire thing, I'm very clear with one aspect. Channel management, at the end of the day, for your channel partners is all about the money that they make. मैं धंधा करूंगा आपके लिए भाई, पैसा कितना मिलेगा? And if there is an aspect that you have to look at seriously, and I'm not promoting only my product, I'm saying look at products in the market, build that market for us. Look at how you can incentivize your partners in real time. Utilize the abilities of a CRM like a Lead Square. Utilize instant gratification from products like MobiKwik, wherein they can get bank-to-bank transfer. Look at Compass as a product which can show your channel partners what they have achieved in real time, absolutely without any errors. I think that is where it's going to. So when Sukhinder talks about customer experience, for me in a channel management business, the customer is my channel partner. I keep them happy, my business is going to grow. People like Anil, Sukhinder, myself, we are all proponents of driving that engagement, driving that customer experience. You're going to get transparency, you're going to get real-time data, you're going to get instant gratification. That's going to actually drive your business. And this is not an idle boast. We have worked with companies like LeadSquare, we worked with companies like MobiKwik. Customers who've utilized these services have, and it's not an idle boast, have seen increments in their sales of 30-35% month on month, pre-implementation to post-implementation. That's a big number to talk about when you're talking about.
I'd like to pitch in here.
Yeah.
It's not quantifiable. You improve your customer experience as much as you can. You can say that you will be able to reduce your retention, improve your retention by X number. It's very difficult to quantify that.
Over a period of time, Sukhinder, it's possible. It's possible. If you see the trend, yes, a 35% jump I can attribute to novelty. That's what I tell my new customers. They say, "Arey yaar, tera product to mera sales badhaya." I'm like, no, this is the baseline. But at the end of the day, if products which are into automation can pay back for themselves in the long run, that is going to make a difference because the customer knows the product's paying for itself, and any upside on it is to his credit. Why not?
Got it. Got it.
Okay,
Sounds
you guys. I'm going to call a timeout on this because I think we can continue talking.
My last comment is going to be the following.
Yes.
Customer experience is never a cost center.
Amen.
And I have been always pitching it to everyone that I work with. It's more of an investment center.
Yeah.
And that's why, Ajay, I mentioned that, you know what, putting that investment into customer experience, it's not very easy to quantify that how you'll improve your retention, how you'll improve your acquisition. It's very difficult to do that with your top people. But that's what my belief is. Invest into customer experience, you'll see the results.
Yeah.
Sukhinder, I agree with you and I disagree with you. And since I always like to get the last word here, I'm gonna tell you this. I will send you the draft of the blog that I'm drafting right now.
Got it. Okay.
Which is, we are doing an incentive program for a finance team for a large retail company today. The finance team, who have never been incentivized in their lives, and without compromising on quality of audit, capitalization, FP&A, none of it. How a finance chartered accountant can be incentivized for doing his job right. We missed a beat over there somewhere. And it's just fortunate that I know the guy who is the CFO of this company. But we're actually going to run an incentive program for hardcore accountants without compromising on quality. And that blog I will send you one-on-one, Sukhinder. I will connect with you on LinkedIn also.
And let's do that. This is something really important because one of my I had my conversation with RTI also. We're looking at an ERP program. We don't have one.
Yeah.
And we are trying to do a ERP program for the finance teams. I'm looking at Salesforce as a final destination that I want to get. I would do that. I would do that. Definitely. I'm on my
Anil, we are hardcore partners with you. Yeah. We're already integrated with you. We love you. You're the best.
You know what?
You're the best. We totally will work with you. We're also with Salesforce.com.
Yes.
But we love you.
So we are almost closing that deal. So 600 seats for Salesforce is coming in.
Excellent. I think we're now, look at the participants, we're down to just us.
It's just us, I think, yes.
I mean, it's been great talking to you guys. Yeah, it's been
super.
a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And
this was wonderful.
Medina, thank you so much for getting this together.
Thank you, Ekta, and thank you, Sukhinder, Sukanta, Ajay, Anil, and Rahul. Yes.
So on this closing note, let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
You guys were so engaged in the discussion. Lovely it was, of course. So just on a closing note, of course, I would like to thank all the participants and the thought leaders, Mr. Sukanta, Anil, Sukhinder sir. and Rahul, and of course Medani and Ajay for wonderfully moderating, making the panel very interesting. And not missing Compass AI, being our partner. Sorry. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a lovely weekend ahead. We shall be sharing the videos with you and also connecting with Compass AI for one-on-one sessions based on your interest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your evening, guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Bye.
weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.